Chapter 2: Drug Development and Ethical Considerations. Ethical principles are going to be a topic that comes up in many different areas of your nursing curriculum, in many different nursing courses. And for good reason, because it plays such a key role in everything that we do. This is going to be especially true in a topic like pharmacology. Now, our core ethical principles, things like respect for others, informed consent, meaning that patient gets to make a decision, having all information available to them to guide them. Also, topics like beneficence, meaning to do good for your patients, not to be confused with non malfeasance, which is to do no harm for your patients. Other things like autonomy and justice are also going to be core principles, and that these patients need to have every tool available to them to make their own decisions. As with any new drug, it's going to have to go through a standardized, rigorous process in research before it comes anywhere near to the market and human subjects. And this is for a very good reason to protect the general public. And even with these strict requirements in place, dangerous drugs still slip through. We still learn things about these drugs that are approved years after they're on the market. It begins with preclinical trials where we test its efficacy, and then it goes on to human clinical experimentation through phase one, two, three, four, as we repeat and confirm these studies. We want to remove any possibility that there is a danger to this drug we're unaware of before it reaches the market. Your nursing code of ethics comes from the American Nurses Association and was developed as a guide for carrying out nursing responsibilities in a manner consistent with quality in nursing care and the ethical obligations of their profession. It was adopted in 1950 and revised again in 2015. It also covers aspects of the nurse's role in clinical research, which is the responsibility for patient safety and being responsible for the integrity of the research protocol. Drug standards in the United States Pharmacopoeia and the National Formulary. These are going to be covering under federal regulations, federal legislation, state nurse practice acts, with the Canadian drug regulation also playing a key role being due to our markets being so closely aligned. Another major danger out there is going to be drug counterfeiting. It's no secret that drugs are very, very expensive. Some top of the line drugs could be several $1,000s. They're extremely expensive. And this also leads people to the internet, buying drugs from places, say, India or online from third world countries, where standards are much less rigid. And even just looking online, you can buy drugs without a prescription mailed to you from a foreign country. But at the same time, you run into a great danger with these counterfeit drugs. They may contain the incorrect ingredients. They can have insufficient amounts of the active ingredients, have no active ingredients, could contain impurities, contaminants, and could even be distributed in fake packaging. When it comes to reading our drug label, you're going to have three things we could look at. They could be the chemical name, the generic name, such as our middle green box there, which is ibuprofen. Everybody's heard of ibuprofen. Then there's also the brand trade name of Advil. Both of those are the same drug. They're just the brand trade name versus the generic name. In the case of over the counter drugs, people look at them that they come over the counter, they must be safe. And there is a lot of dangers coming from over the counter drugs. You need to be very aware and cognizant when taking these. You also need to make sure that these are included on the patient's med rec so that the guy prescribing those prescriptions knows what over the counter medications that patient's taking to identify any potential interaction that could occur. Over the counter drugs are found to be safe and appropriate for use without supervision, and they're available without a prescription. Though that doesn't mean they don't come without their own dangers. You really want to make sure you're taking them appropriately. In 2002, the FDA standardized over the counter labeling to provide consumers with better information and describing both the benefits and the risks of these over the counter drugs. As a nurse, we need to be aware of what over the counter drugs these patients are taking and any potential implications that could have on their care. For resources and information on drugs, this can come from a wide variety of areas. The American Hospital Formulary Service Drug Information, the U.S. Pharmacopoeia, the prescriber's letters, websites like Medline Plus, or your medication handbook that you've no doubt bought for this course. For practice question one, which act does the nurse identify that provides for the privacy of patient health information? That be A, the Drug Regulation Reform Act, B, the Drug Relations Act, C, the Food and Drug Administration Modernization Act, or D, the Health Insurance Portability and Accountability Act? That answer is going to be D, the Health Insurance Portability and Accountability Act, better known as HIPAA. Question two, which of the following does the nurse identify is the primary purpose of federal legislation and drug standards? That be A, preventing overcharging for drugs, B, controlling efforts in drug research, C, ensuring public safety, or D, moderating effective drug usage? And that answer would be C, ensuring public safety. For question three, what situation regarding controlled substances requires the supervising RN to intervene? That be A, the staff keeps separating controlled substances records for all required information. B, controlled substances are locked away from patients and all staff members have keys for necessary access. C, opioids are kept under a double lock to limit access to them. Or D, all discarded or wasted controlled substances are countersigned. And that answer is going to be B. Controlled substances are locked away from patients, and all staff members have keys for necessary access. We want to have strict access. We want to know who is accessing these controlled substances. Because should something go missing, it's going to be detrimental for the entire unit. These are no joke. These are federal laws, and any missing unwitnessed waste, any missing controlled substances is going to be a serious problem for the entire unit. And for our final question, a nurse is administered a dose of furosemide. The nurse is aware that furosemide is the blank for the drug. Would it be the generic name, chemical name, non proprietary name, or brand name? And that answer is going to be A. Furosemide is the generic name, whereas the brand name for this medication is Lasix. But anyway, that's all we got for this chapter. I'll see you in the next slides.